Has David Michery's recent media appearance given some confidence back to Mullen shareholders? Hi again, everyone. Hope you're all doing really well. So obviously Friday was a bit of a sour end to the week with Muln Automotive giving back much of its gains the small amount of gains it got on Thursday from the news that they had booked $308,000 in revenue. Still a bit of lack of clarity around how that figure has come to based on 22 vehicle deliveries. We've been speculating about. If you've got some ideas, share it in the comments below, because really on paper it doesn't quite add up. I know obviously there's like they're a wholesale of going through Marion, so that might be part of the reason there, but there's a few other reasons that we speculated upon yesterday. Anyway, so heading into the weekend, it was really interesting because Financial Jenny, I often say he's probably one of the best YouTubers who cover this stock, in the sense that he always seems to get inside scoops, and I guess given his size, he's able to get access to interviews with pretty central figures, like he who should not be named, Lawrence Harge, and as what we saw today, David Michery. So the interview he posted with David Michery today, I found quite interesting. Obviously, it was recorded on Thursday, just after they had released the news that they had sold the 22 vans, but it came out on YouTube today, basically after the market at the end of the week. Now, my take on the whole David Michery interview, it was, he's a seasoned executive. He knows how to handle sort of the media, take what, even though we're YouTubers, what Financial Journey does is technically falls under the category of media and reporting. And he handles himself really well. He knows like when he can and can't provide information. A couple of things that were a bit reassuring. I love that he's got so much confidence in the company, and he genuinely seems to believe that the stock is massively undervalued. I know he keeps going back to the cash value of the shares, which isn't like the best way to value a company, but at least in terms of looking at net asset values, it's a nice indicator. Because if you're putting in like $100 into the stock, and you're getting the equivalent of $300 worth of assets, you're technically ahead. But until the share price realizes that value, you're not ahead. And obviously that 38-cent per share cash value is going to kind of erode a little bit over time. Anyway, I think I just generally thought it was quite a refreshing interview to hear from him again, and sort of be upbeat. I quite like that he sort of said that the way that they funded through these like warrants and stuff like that perhaps has been quite detrimental to the stock, and that was like a nice admission for him to make, because obviously the warrants that have been being executed on just this week, and even in past months and years, have really been what's been behind the hurting and diluting of the stock. And he kind of didn't out and out say it, but he sort of said he believes some of the people funding the company did so in a sense that they are hoping that the company wouldn't do so well. Like that kind of basically, I felt like he implied that some of these companies have put bets both ways, and that's kind of added to shorting or off-market shorting, which I think is what he was kind of alluding to. He didn't want to out and out say shorting, but yeah. So I think there was a bit of an element to that there, and it's good that he's kind of, I feel like, aware of it. At the same time, the interview, I thought I would have liked to see a bit of clarity around, just what's going on with the whole MAEO situation. I know we kind of try not to talk about Lawrence Harge too much, but he's so vocal on social media these days. I think he might be a bit bored, because I feel like that MAEO project might not actually be going ahead, but there was no real clarity or questioning in that area asked. I suppose people have kind of moved on from there, just waiting to see what happens in that space, but more focus is on production. And some of the numbers that they were predicting for vehicles to come out, by the end of this year, and then through to next year, quite promising. So they're thinking that they're going to be delivering several hundred vehicles for the remainder of this calendar year, and climbing into above I didn't catch the whole figure, but it was above 10,000 for next year. I think it was probably sounded like it was going to be close to 20,000 vehicles delivered next year. And, like there was kind of a real focus on that they have underlying assets and, they didn't say it, but their net debt position is, actually very healthy as well. So the company actually is financially in a good position. They're starting to bank a little bit of revenue, and that obviously is going to pick up this year and next. So there possibly is a chance for a bit of a turnaround in the stock. Another thing that wasn't really questioned in the interview is, and I think a lot of people are kind of thinking about this, like the reverse stock split. It wasn't addressed directly, but I think there is a sense that there is going to be another reverse stock split, and obviously it's going to be painful. Personally, I've kind of sort of said I think there is going to be a reverse stock split because the stock is hovering around that 10 cent mark. David Michery did say that, they're the only thing that they're not NASDAQ compliant for is being above $1. And they didn't sort of indicate whether or not they had another 180-day warning or not to satisfy it. So they might not have yet received the warning. It usually takes about 6 months to receive it. So I feel like it sounds like that clock has been restarted since the reverse stock split and they regained compliance in that sense, but still a bit of grayness around it all. So I think the proposal vote is going to be more so that they can have the power to do on in the future if they do need to. Now, the fact that the stock is sitting only at about 11 cents at the moment kind of puts us in that dangerous territory, because if you're below 10 cents for more than 10 consecutive trading days, the NASDAQ can and often does issue a delisting action. It's not like an immediate delisting, but like it means that the companies have to basically fight the delisting threat that they're given and do their best to regain compliance. So Mullen's kind of near that territory. I'm kind of at the moment keen to try and up my position in the stock a little bit. I'm in two minds. I'm kind of thinking, do I wait to see if it hits below 10 cents? But because I think if it does go back below 10 cents, it'll probably come down, a little bit more, just because it'll just bring this new element of fear into the stock. And therefore you can pick it up a bit more of a bargain. I also was thinking maybe I should wait until after a reverse stock split, because, the chances are, again, there's going to be some shareholder erosion. I hate to say it. But then I just thought, well, why don't I just do both? So I've kind of set myself, I guess buying price. I'm going to be looking to buy back in the stock if it hits around that 7 or 8 cents mark at the moment. And then I'll maybe put another small investment in if there is another reverse stock split, just to basically dollar cost average my position out a little bit. Because while it's hurt a lot of shareholders, through the dilution, one of the only ways you can really get on top of dilution is still buying as the stock price erodes. But that hurts, and not a lot of people want to do that. Some people are very happy to cut their losses and just walk away from this. And I wouldn't blame anyone if that's the way they feel about Mullen Automotive. But if you still feel a bit upbeat, I feel a little bit upbeat. I'm not trying to advise anyone what to do, but I think it's perhaps I feel like I might be putting a little bit more back in the company just to see how it goes. I'm not putting a lot of money in this stock each time I invest. It's very small amounts. It's a very small fraction of my portfolio. And that was even before it massively sold off since I bought it. So yeah. Anyway, just a couple of thoughts about where the stock is heading into the weekend and that recent interview with Financial Journey. Anyway, share your thoughts on everything Mullen in the comments below. Really appreciate the banter we've been having. It's been quite good and informative. Yeah, love it. All right, have a good weekend, everyone. May the markets trade in your favor. Cheers.